preach in a moment, but I just wanted to give some context to what we're doing tonight. We've been working through Lent. Do you understand what the series in Lent is about? Because I've had some comments that people have no idea what we're doing in Lent. Yes, every sermon that we're looking at and every daily devotion starts with the words RE. But that's just the gimmick. That is not what we're looking at. What we're actually looking at is some different perspectives of Easter. Because sometimes we get very two-dimensional when we come to Easter. We think that Easter is about Jesus dying on the cross for forgiveness of sins and rising from the dead to give us new life, which is completely true. Nothing wrong with that at all, except for there's a lot more about the Easter story and the Easter narratives than just those two perspectives. And so whilst we're going to look at those two perspectives as well, over Lent, I'm just trying to show you some different facets of the Easter story that we may not normally look at. And so today we're looking at this idea of reaching out. Now, during the week, Simon Hansford was here. Do you know who Simon Hansford is? He's our moderator of the Uniting Church, the head of the New South Wales Uniting Church. He grew up at St Ives, which is very nearby. And he came and he was preaching to the retired minister's lunch, not a necessary piece of information, but he was talking about reaching out to others, and he used this amazing statistic. We often talk about, wasn't that one? Oh, I've run out of, I haven't turned myself on, that's my problem. Here we go. We often talk about this idea of the percentage of Australians who come to church regularly. It used to be really high in the 1950s and 1960s. It used to be up around 60% of Australians would come regularly to church, but it's changed over the years. So much so there's a bit of debate now over the word regular. What does regular actually mean? Does it mean once a week? Does it mean once a fortnight? Does it mean, actually what they're using at the moment is once a month is regular? And then it got to a point where going, there must be a better way of doing this. And so they've changed the statistic to the percentage of Australians who have no church connection at all. So they've sort of flipped it around and said, who doesn't have any church connection? So we're not talking about regular church connection, we're talking about any church connection. Do you know what the percentage of Australians who have no church connection is? Have a guess. 60? It's higher.
65.
80 is getting closer. It's 82%. That is scary, isn't it? That is scary that 4 out of 5 Australians do not have any connection with the church. Have a think about it. Think about your friends at the moment. How many of those have got connections to the church? Don't include your church friends because that will skew the things. But if you think about your school friends, uni friends, work colleagues, how many go to church, how many don't? Suddenly you go, well, actually, that's pretty close, isn't it? We do live in a bit of a churchy area here, which skews the results as well. But it's scary that 4 out of 5 Australians have no connection to church at all. And yet we find it hard to invite people to come to church, don't we? Or to do anything to do with spirituality, because we think that if we raise religion, we're going to offend people, or even worse, fracture a relationship with the person because we will upset them or something. And so we often don't. And consequently, over the last probably 10 to 15 years, we have not talked about evangelism much in the church, have we? Have you heard lots of talks about telling other people about Jesus? And yet if you go to the Easter story, it's very much a part of the Easter story. So for example, Jesus told lots of parables about reaching out to other people, about God reaching out. So for example, the lost shepherd and the lost sheep and the lost coin. And Jesus himself reached out to a lot of people like Zacchaeus. Actually, the heart of the Easter story is reaching out, God reaching out to us with love and mercy and forgiveness. So how do we talk about this then? How do we address this whole issue of reaching out to other people with the good news that we know about Jesus? Well, that's what I've invited John, young child, to come and just share with us, because he's got some good experience in this area, and I'm going to hand over to John.
Good evening. How are you? Good? My name is John, an English name, and my original name is Myung-Chun. Maybe you might be curious. What does it mean, the Myung-Chun mean? Myung-Chun, my father's joy, it was my father's joy to call me Myung-Chun. The meaning is the beginning of the wisdom, of the covenant. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 7, there is the fear of the Lord. It's the beginning of the knowledge. That this is my name. I have prepared some brief video to introduce myself. So you just watch 2 minutes and I will talk about more. Yes, with the sound. This is me. Okay. Yeah, this is me and my wife and my 2 kids. One of the kids. Just briefly, my life diagram last 3 years. I will show you. I was not last 3 years. My whole life. Look at that. My whole life diagram over there. I was born in 1982. Just briefly now that we came to Australia 2008, 11 years ago. Yes. And last 3 years, 2016, started POD, period of discernment, 3 years ago, and then last year, candidate, and exactly. My home church is Stony Hillcrest United Church. There is my church, home church, and 3 mentors and another mentor here. And my personal evaluation before candidate, there is theology and elective and ministry experience for the last 3 years. I was going on like that. And personal growth and spiritual growth, the 5 different areas. Last 3 years we have developed myself. Yes. And the 2 things, do you know basis of union? I love basis of union. 2 things. First is the gift. Men and women, we have a gift to provide God, the church, and then spreading out the word of God. And then ecumenical. This is my favorite one. And then the Apostolic Church, and then Catholic Church. We all together thinking out how to working together. The neighbors, church, we all together. This is one of the basis of union. Yeah, that one is my favorite. Thank you very much. This is first time to share my reflection without text. And like young people, in front of young people. But I love youth and I love young spirit. I just want to briefly summarize today's Bible passages, 3 different Bible passages. First one, do you remember? What was that? Lost sheep. Yeah. And second one, lost coin. And third one, yes, Zacchaeus. Right? Zacchaeus. My pronunciation is not really good, but please understand. And 3 different passages connect each other. What do you think? Which is their connect? One word. There is many ideas, but I think the table. Table is the really good, important, and symbol of that passage. Each other's connect. The table, like that table. Because the lost sheep, the owner found the lost sheep, and then bring the lost back home, and then owner did invite everyone, my friend, to come to my house because I have found the lost sheep. I want to share my food, my party to you. Come to my table. like that table. And the second one, lost coin. The silver coin, do you know how much that silver coin was that? 1 drachma and 1 denarius. That is the unskilled person, worker, 1 day wages. That much value. She found that coin, and then she was very happy and invited to the friend to come over my house, and then I want to share with you my food, my heart, how I'm happy like this. And then Zacchaeus story as well. Jesus and Zacchaeus meet together, and Jesus goes to Zacchaeus' house, and then together share the table. This is really important. The word today's my reflection. I will show you. I'm doing something here or over there, so you guess what I'm doing. Okay, this is the question. You know, I was a dancer a long time, 20 years, hip hop dance, and then I did a little bit ballet or classic and contemporary. But I don't want to show you like professional hip hop dance today. But I just want to show you mine. You can guess what I'm doing. Okay, this is the you can find guess in Bible passage, one of the Bible story. This is really simple, and this is really easy to find out the word. Okay. What do you think? What is that?
Adam and Eve.
Yes. Adam and Eve. I will share today about sin. Jesus invited sinner today. What do you think? Hear the sin, when you hear the sin, something like not good feeling. But there is many definition of the sin in our history, world history, Christian history. There is the sin. Palestinians, Judaism, they define the sin. The person or behavior do not connect norms of certain Jewish factions. They define sin if you are doing wrong things against the rule of the Jewish tradition, you are the sinner. If you do wrong things against your tradition or heritage, you are the sinner. This is the one of the definition. What about today? What is the sin today? Really easy to find out what is the sin. Like Facebook, Instagram, or Google, you can search the sin. Criminal. We have really sad story about sin. And another definition of the sin in Bible. What Bible says about sin? Bible, especially Romans chapter 6, verse 23. There is wages of the sin. Is the death. Wow. It means disconnection with relationship with God. This is the Bible says, like one of the definition of the sin. Unrighteousness, disconnection, and misplaced. This is the we can understand small way to approach to understand about sin. From that time, Adam and Eve disconnected with God. The Bible say like this. And I want to talk about like kingdom of God. And what about kingdom of God? What do you think? Jesus Christ. And Jesus invites sinner to his table. And Pharisees, and scribes, and many people, they don't like to see that tables hanging out, that they grew. Jesus together invite sinner and tax collector like Zacchaeus together share the meal. That really helps because they understood about sin, follow their tradition and their theology and their thinking. This is not good. How he can to sinners be together share the table. But like kingdom of God, share and open the table and then invite everyone to come. All sinners to come to the table and then share. There is heaven, reconciliation, and restoration. When I was living in South Korea, I was a military police for 4 years. And I was a lay chaplain in Air Force Basement. And also I was studying in the field of Christian education. And in free time, I led a dance ministry mission group. Before, I was studying theology. I prayed at the church, in the church night time, and I asked God, I want to be your servant. I want to be your minister. God, please help me how to be a minister. And I continued to pray, God, okay, if I go to theological college and be a minister, okay, I will not dance anyway. I will not dance anymore. It was really sad because I was a dancer, I love to dance and I show like performance, but my big decision to change my life story. I wanted to. I don't want to dance. Yeah, I prayed like that. And God came to me and said, Joe and Yoncho, I always with you, and I know you love dance, and I know you want to dance, and I want to ask you like this: would you please dance for me? He asked me, John, would you please dance for me? You can dance for me. And you can dance like King David. Why not? And it was really very scary and exciting voice from God. Okay, after that time, okay, I started school, and then I invite 14 youth workers in the college, and then I train, and then performance practice together, and then pray together, Bible study, and then theological study, pray, and then we working together, and we go out for evangelism purpose, and share the dance in the street, and then house, and university, and church, everywhere we go, outside, and overseas as well. We went to India as well, and share the dance, and then share the gospel. My thinking, my thought was changed when I met Jesus Christ. God came to me, and then He changed my thinking, my traditional, my conservative thinking, changed. New things come. It happened at the table. His invitation is very unexpected, very exciting. I didn't realize, but when I go to His invitation, and He did reconciliation and restoration of my thing and thinking, and He gave me new vision, new thinking. And I will conclude my reflection today. The theme of today's passage is reaching out. And table is the one of the important word. The table is the symbol of the kingdom of God. We can see the kingdom of God through this table. His invitation, Jesus Christ invited all the sinners. And you can see this table, through this table, what happened. Sinners come to the table, everyone comes to the table, and then Jesus Christ reconciles, restoration, everything beyond the sinner, sin, and then reconcile. We all are brother and sister in Jesus Christ, and we go and then reaching out to the world. Kingdom of God reaching out to us, Jesus Christ reaching out to the sinner, and then we also reaching out to the people, and then we go out to the world, and then we go to reach out and yourself, who you are. What is my identity? Who am I? Think about that. Reach out to the church, out of the church, go to the world, and reaching out to yourself. Jesus Christ reaching out to you. Amen.
I'm just going to wrap this up with 2 points. Let me thank John, that was great. What you don't realise, what I just did with John, is that John preached off notes this morning, and I said, no, tonight let's do it without notes, because I think you'll be able to share more from the heart without notes. So that was a massive step. So well done. Just to sum this up, we've been talking about how to reach out to other people. We've got something coming up soon here in the church to help us to do that. You see, the church can't reach out to other people on your behalf. You've got to do this by yourself. Or you have to help us do it, because we are the church. And coming up soon, where am I? We want to talk about Alpha and Youth Alpha, because they're coming up real soon. And Alpha has been totally redesigned, but it's a way of being able to reach out to people and go, and you think about life and about how spirituality might fit into that. Here is a really good way of exploring those questions. A really good way. And the way that Alpha works is it's most successful when you invite people to come along. You know, we've got a banner out. We'll put a banner out the front there. But we will lucky you one person through the banner. The best way for people to be engaged with Alpha and Youth Alpha is for people to go, hey, do you want to come along to this? Now with Alpha, I've been encouraging the congregations in the morning to think about their friends or the other people they connect with who may not yet know Jesus. It's hard, we don't want to judge people, but who may not yet know Jesus, and say, do you want to come along? from talking with Jonty, the way that we hope that Youth Alpha will work is in two ways. Firstly, we're going to be trying to do it for people in high school, and just a good way of saying to the kids at Square One, here is just another level that we can explore faith with. But also, we're hoping that we might be able to connect with some people who had connections with this church over the years. Awesome. Who has had connections with the church over the years, but maybe is less connected now, to say, is this a way of just inviting people to come back and be slightly connected with us again? It's a really non-threatening way to be able to do that. So, here's some challenges, 3 challenges for you. Can you think of 3 people who may yet not know Jesus who is connected to you? That might be through your work, your uni, or whatever. It might be just people that you hang out with. I'm not telling you to do anything with them yet except for, can you think of them? Maybe even pray for them. They're really bad up there, aren't they? The challenge is, can you pray for those people? That they might be able to see something in what we found in Jesus. Here's the second challenge. Consider being part of the Alpha program. And I'm not just talking about attending, I'm talking about helping make this thing work. Now, there's lots of different ways to be involved, but the easiest way to be involved to begin with is to come along to an Alpha training. Alpha or Youth Alpha training. I'm going to the one on Saturday the 6th of April. Cricket is finished by then. Soccer's probably started by then. It's about 4 hours. It goes to 2:30, but Peter, who's done it before, said it didn't quite go that long. But he said it is excellent. And hey, it's a Coorong, they have coffee and books. You know, it's worth going to. But he said, I say, if you go to the training, you hear everything about it, you get excited by it, and you can begin to see how you can play a part in this. So I would love for people to come along with me. And if you're interested, talk to me and we'll make a mock booking and have a whole heap of us go along. And last one, do you want to be part of inviting someone to come along with you? There's 2 big sessions that is happening on Monday the 6th of May and Sunday the 11th of May. Just to do the first session in both of Alpha and Youth Alpha. Now, we might actually split the groups into smaller groups after that, depending who is, but just to sort of say, sorry? We're going to invite the possums. It's a big possum. The first one's at my place on Monday the 6th of May. I'm going to make a cracking meal. Come along, we'll eat together, we'll watch the first session together, we'll have a discussion, and who knows, the people you might invite goes, hey, that was alright. I could keep going to this. Or they might go, no, that's not me. And that's fine. But if you want to say, just come along for the first one, see what it's like. Likewise, on Sunday the 11th of May, 4:30 in the Jacaranda room, we're going to do the same thing. We're not having dinner, but we will have amazing snacks. We're going to do the first session together. We're going to see if this is something that people are interested in. To wind this up, I want to tell you one last story. A story that out of the Old Testament, which you may or may not know. This comes from, it says 2 Kings chapter 7, I got it wrong. It is 1 Kings chapter 7. And it's a story about the Israelites being held in siege by the Amalekites, or something like that, at Samaria. You know how sieges work? They camp around the city and they basically starve you out. And so that's what was happening. The enemy was surrounding this walled city of Samaria and nobody could escape. Except for these 4 characters who are standing outside the walled city. They are Jewish people, they're Israelites, but they were lepers. So they weren't allowed inside the city because they were unclean. But they're sort of stuck between a rock and a hard place, aren't they? They've got the enemy surrounding them on the outside. They're not allowed on the inside. The people on the inside are starving to death anyway, so any food that they have, they're not going to give to lepers who are dying. Well, they're not dying, but they're the worst of the worst. And so they're sort of stuck between the rock and the hard place. So the Bible says that they say, well, this is a hopeless situation, let's just get this over and done with. Let's go down to the Amorites and surrender, and they're going to kill us. So let's just get it over and done with. You know, we can't go into the city, we're starving, let's just go and get killed. So they wander down to the tents to get killed, basically, because it's hopeless. And when they get there, do you know the story? They get down there, there's no one there. And the Bible tells us because the people in this song were praying for God to save them. And so God did save them by scaring all the people away in the middle of the night. And they basically were so scared that they just ran away and left everything. So when these 4 lepers get down to surrender, they've walked in, and it is like the best survivor reward ever. There is food, there is shelter, there is loot, there is weapons and armour, there's everything just sitting there, and no people. And these 4 people start pigging out, like they've got food in one hand and shoving loot in their pockets in the other, and they are just pigging out going, this is the best day ever. Then the Bible says that one of them said, this is not right. This is such good news, and we're keeping it to ourselves. We better go back and tell the others who are still starving up the hill in the city. We better go and tell them about it. I wonder if that's similar to what we've done. We've discovered something amazing in Jesus. I know our experiences of Jesus are all different, but we found something in Jesus. Whether that's forgiveness, whether that's friendship, whether that's some sense of the mystery and spirituality. But each one of us have found something in Jesus. And I wonder if we're sitting there with food in one hand and shoving loot in the pocket in the other going, this is amazing! And forgetting the fact that there's a whole bunch of people just outside who desperately need this good news as well. How do we actually find ways of sharing this good news with them? That's the challenge for tonight. That's the stuff that we want to explore. I think Alpha's a part of that, but there's a lot more there. I'm going to leave it there. We're going to reflect upon that as a prayers next, as we pray. But I'm open to having more conversations about how we might be able to do that in a way that makes sense. I'm going to hand over to Ellen.